Hey everyone, Mikey today with some thoughts here on Brigador Up Armored Edition. Now this is effectively the same as the base Brigador game. It is called that way because it is the relaunched version that I believe came out in mid-2017. But anyways, if you own the original game, this is what you have now. For those of you who've never played this game before, let's hop into a mission here. We'll do kind of an early-ish mission to show off some of the mechanics, and it'll be a bit less hectic for me to talk and play at the same time. And then we'll hop on to a bit of a later mission. So these buildings here with the little pink thing on top of them, or along the edge of the screen, you can see there's a crosshair. Those are my main objectives, and so objectives can be buildings or units, or sometimes both. So those are my main objectives that I have to deal with. And yeah, let's kind of make our way through here. So as you can see, I've got two little reticles or lines. There's a blue and a pink one. Those are for each of my weapons. They're going to be following each other a lot in this example, or for this mech, because, well, they are effectively similar weapons. But yeah, I'm gonna point out here that this game is not really a twin-stick shooter. It kind of is, but it kind of isn't. Just because when you look at some of the weapons I have, there's a bit of an arc to them. And so, depending on what my current vehicle has and what I'm shooting at, there can be some height implications there, making things a little bit tough. So, you know, if I'm a super high up mech trying to fight, you know, little ground troops like that, or tiny mechs, then I can shoot over them. And conversely, well, if I'm a tiny mech and I'm trying to shoot up, I could potentially hit some other things, obstacles and whatnot, that maybe a taller mech won't have to contend with. So, you know, it is what it is. I think this game is pretty unique and really neat in how it's designed. Yeah, even though, like I said, it's not really a twin-stick shooter, it still kind of plays like one, so, you know, it's not a huge problem. And, yeah, I think it's generally a really neat game. So it's a little bit slow and strategic right now. However, it can pick up speed. We'll probably see later level and vehicle combo that is definitely on the faster end of things, and this is kind of on the slower end of things, just because this mission isn't super hectic either, and there's not a ton of stuff to worry about. But yeah, I'm pointing that out because, you know, there's some strategy to this. Yeah, we took advantage of all the explosives there and went ahead and destroyed one of our objectives. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in here and take advantage of the fact that this guy can just smash through buildings with ease. And I took advantage of my camo, which is my middle mouse ability. And if I hit spacebar, this guy's got a speed boost, which makes it really useful for ramming stuff. Oh, okay. Let's crush those guys. Anyways. So I've got 3 structures to destroy. We've got one here. And I see there's at least one vehicle. Okay, he woke up. I'm just gonna ram him. Man, this game is immensely satisfying. So there are different mechs, there are different classes of vehicle available. This is, you know, this is a tank style vehicle. However, there are bipedal mechs, there's flying mechs as well, floating units, and wheeled ones as well. There's even like motorbike style ones, you know, single track. So there's a neat variety of stuff. At least as far as the campaign is concerned, you're not really going to be customizing your mech. You've got a couple different presets depending on the mission that they'll offer you. so it keeps the camping side of things a little bit easier. And as far as the campaign, goes, that's mostly what it is. The game also has a Freelancer Mode, and that's where you go to customize your mech and choose your loadout and go down that route. So I can exit immediately. However, there's also the depots to destroy if I want to try and get maximum points. Not that I need to, but I can, so why not? So these are the weapon depots, and this circle around it is it's both the explosion blast as I destroy them, and also the radius I have to be in if I want to get ammo from them. So we'll kind of zip down here. So you'll see there's also an arrow in front of my tank. That is kind of the direction it's pointing in. It tries to, if I go backwards like this, it won't right itself. I can hold E and it'll do it. However, by default, if you're taking corners and stuff, you'll be pointing forwards at all times. It is decoupled like a twin stick shooter, so moving on the keyboard is controlling my direction, and then my mouse is decoupled from that. So the reason I mentioned the Up Armored Edition, that is what it's currently called on Steam. It is the relaunch version of the game. The original version, only had tank controls, for instance. And so a lot of players struggled a bit with that because they're younger players and they've never played games with tank controls. So it's a little hard to wrap your head around that concept if you've never really grown up with games like that. I can see this playing with tank controls. However, it now defaults to, absolute positioning instead. So that's how I'm playing. I've not switched to tank controls. But other things like the early tutorial levels, what I just did was kind of still a tutorial level. They had stripped them down and made them like kind of a VR mission, if you will. They like Metal Gear Solid games, but that is basically to say it's not a fully populated map. And so people got overwhelmed quickly when they loaded a real map after the tutorial bits, which were also shorter and didn't explain the game as much, from what I understand. So a lot of people got kind of frustrated there as well, where you get into this map and like, oh, there's a lot of stuff going on, and it's a little overwhelming. So I'm just gonna chill here for a bit and see what's gonna happen. If I can deal with this stuff. Oh, I didn't get that guy. Come on. Awesome. Getting that lineup is pretty amazing. Okay. Trying not to get shot at too much. So far, I'm doing pretty good. So, my big laser there takes a while to recharge, and the shotgun's not particularly effective. And it's kind of hard to ram a floating vehicle. So I've cameled up. And then I can ram him. Pretty good. Alright. I'm doing pretty good so far. So, one of the things is the enemies that had the eyes on them, and then they're drawing like these green lasers. Those guys, when they'll sound the alarm, they'll basically activate all the enemies on the map. And so I do have to be careful about that and deal with them quickly if I can. Oh, do I have to do? I don't have to, but I can. Let's try and deal with some of these if we can. So yeah, Ideally, you don't want to get spotted by them if you can avoid it, just because it does make your life a lot harder. A lot of these guys are kind of dumb, so they're not really gonna attack me. They're not particularly strong vehicles. And yeah, there's all sorts of little things. So you can see there's a lot of these barriers that are up. And there are power generators along the map that I can take out. And so those are 2 of the power substations, the other 2 on the other end. So I can go and deal with those. This is going to explode, so I want to stay far from it. Let's take a boost there. Deal with 1. 2. So, power substations are down. You can see these panic walls are down as well. Go ahead and recharge. Okay. Comm towers and depots. So I'm looking for the pink lines. There's another one up here, which means there'll probably be a vehicle back here somewhere. Oh, it doesn't look like it. So all of these are optional things, but you know, that's how you get more money. And so if I want to customize vehicles, I can do all these side objectives. And since I've cleared out the map, it's just a matter of spending a little bit of extra time to do it. Which, as you can see, is not too difficult when you have the right vehicle to do the job. But yeah, overall, I think it's a really fun game. It's super unique, right? It's all sprite-based, so it's got this extremely specific look to it, and it plays in such a way, you know, when I look at it, it reminds me of Command & Conquer Tiberian Sun, which I think is an absolutely wonderful game. I loved RTSs back then. You hear the same thing. People liked StarCraft 1 especially, because it's visually, it's very easy to read what's happening with how the sprites worked in those games. Tiberian Sun technically had voxels on top of the sprites, but you know, same idea. But yeah, that's the campaign. You know, if I choose another campaign mission, you'll see I have different loadout vehicles available. Now, if you want to customize, this is where you go into the freelance mode. So we'll take a 2 difficulty pilot. I can work my way up and get, you know, pilots to make the game a bit harder if I want to buy them. So we'll choose our pilot. I can buy different vehicles. Let's try, I don't know. Try something that looks different. Well, that's a big one. Okay, let's go with this big guy. Heavy machine gun, sure. And his secondary. Chain gun. Wait, what do I have again? Chemical projector, interesting. Laser, tri-beam, railgun. Railguns are pretty cool, that's what I had last time. And then for my special, camo is pretty good. So we'll go with that. And then we've got different missions that we can do here. And let's buy the next one and go ahead and do that. So that's kind of how these freelance missions is how you can basically build your own mech and do stuff. These missions are more involved as well. So I'm just kind of poking around the screen here. There's a dude right there and a dude over there. Yeah. Oh, it's that thing, the chemical things. Okay, I know what that is now. Well, once I destroy this, it's going to alert a lot of guys. So let's see what kind of response we have. No one. Huh. Interesting. Okay. Alright. Oh, okay, we got a bit of a response there. Boom, sniped him. Sniped that guy. didn't snipe that one. So I can also ground pound as this guy. So you would have seen earlier I was using the vehicle to ram. Bipedal mechs can just ground pound, which is pretty effective. And then these little ground units, they're not really strong. You do have to be a little bit careful with them. But they're not extremely strong either. So doing noise here, just gonna distract this guy, take care of him. And that's an optional objective. This dude is not gonna see it coming. God, this game's really cool. You know, the fact that I could just blast through walls, be like, yo, what's up? What are you gonna do about it? It just adds a lot of different strategy. Yeah, and I could just do that, take advantage of explosions, railgun, knock that dude out. Yeah. So yeah, this can get pretty hectic if you have a smaller mech, really fast-paced mech. This can get really fast and hectic as well. So yeah, so far so good. Taking it nice and steady. We're gonna do that. We're gonna activate a bunch of dudes. Stomp those guys on the ground. I guess I'll mention top left corner, right? The two ammo bars, the blue, the kind of purpley blue one, and then the other one. Those are my two left and right ammunition. The camel one in the middle, that's my ability that I can activate. And then the blue, green and blue bar on top of that is your HP and your shield. So when I take out some of these vehicles, I can recharge my shield off of them, but I can't repair. I see this guy here. This guy here can spot me. Oh, come on. Phew. Ammoed in time, got rid of him in time. So yeah, that's why you'll see me go on some of these corpses or destroyed vehicles, right? I want to try and, if at all possible, I want to try and pick up ammo if they're dropping any, or shields like that to recharge my own. I don't normally have to, but it's useful to do it when you can. Or I can go to an ammo depot. What's that guy doing? Oh, may as well get rid of him. So there are optional things like this. This is the radar. If I destroy the comm towers, they can't spot me and call in reinforcements as quickly, which is useful. There's also usually power substations you can take out. Those are useful if they've alerted you and there's a lot of barricades. You can get the barricades down instead of having to destroy them. It's not a big deal, but again, it's another thing you can deal with. So I can already exit, but there's also another structure to deal with. Okay, is that is a comm tower. And this guy's gonna be like, hey, someone shot over here. And I could just meet him around the corner and be like, yo, what's up? Yeah, it's super useful being able to just go around corners and deal with people. Looks like we've got a decent force of guys here. You have to be careful because you can get damaged by your own stuff as well. So standing in those clouds actually does damage me as well. And then garrison, I believe those are just the troops. So if I go around and find some more vehicles lying around. Oh no, those are... It's these guys. Well, these guys count. Yeah, 43. Not all the ground infantry are considered garrison. The ones that are attacking me are. So that's why I'm dealing with those. And yeah, I think that's about it. We need one more. And then I can also do the depots. I don't need any of this. So depots are going to appear as little pips around the map edge in pink. So you can only fill up your type of ammo at the appropriate depot as well. As that's worth pointing that out. I'm just gonna blast the hole in the wall here. Oop. I don't want to stand in that stuff, it is hurting me. So I'm out of shield now. Whoopsie. Anyways, that's Brigador. I think it's a really cool game. I don't remember if I talked about the Up Armored Edition, the relaunch, but yeah, basically the game launched and it was pretty good. It's just, you know, it had some issues and some stuff that, you know, the developers didn't necessarily think about or kind of ignored in some of the testing because they didn't necessarily make the connection. And I'm happy to see that, like, ever since it came out, especially with the updates, you know, this game came out in 2016, relaunched in 2017, and since then it's been getting a lot of support. I know on the splash screen it was saying, hey, there's going to be winter 2021 update. On Steam they posted an update to that saying like, hey, actually we're pushing it back a little bit. Don't worry, it'll happen. Which is cool. Like, there's also mod tools available, which is cool. That came out in 2019, I believe. So if you want to make your own maps and edit stuff and all that, that's also all available. So yeah, just super cool game overall. Super unique look. Really fun gameplay. It's extremely unique, which is the biggest thing that I appreciate about it. And it is slightly disappointing to hear, you know, I listened to the developer talk at GDC on it, and it is a little disappointing to hear that it did well enough, but not, it didn't do well enough for a sequel, but it did well enough to kind of, you know, at least pay for itself. I'm hoping that I got it through a Humble Monthly at one point, and so I'm hoping like that, because that talk was before they relaunched the game, and it was a little bit before Humble Monthly got it for one of the bundles, or back when it was Humble monthly bundles, as opposed to Humble Choice these days. But yeah, you know, it's a really cool game. Oh, this has got like 2 missions. That's interesting. Okay. I wasn't expecting that. Oh, so you get to actually finish what you've done before. Okay. This is my first time actually encountering this kind of setup in a freelance. I was not expecting this at all, which is fine. I just have to be super careful now. The thing is, I don't really have any shields, so any damage I take from my hull is potentially fatal. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's not one of the shield guys. So some of these enemies like that are going to be shield rich, which is what I want. So as soon as I take that out, it's going to make a lot of noise. which is fine. Just gonna alert a bunch of people. Go ahead and ground pound there. Do that, do that. Okay, so far so good. I'm gonna recharge ammo while I can. Snipe another target. God, this... Once you really get this game, right, it's super cool. It definitely has a bit of a learning curve, I think, with all the changes that they've done. I found the learning curve to actually be not too bad at all, but I could see how, you know, it's you gotta readjust your expectations a little bit on this one, and not look at it as a twin stick shooter, because that's not what it is. And then once you do that, then it's actually not too bad. You know, you can figure it out pretty quickly. Oh, did I take out all the power? Oh, I did. Excellent. So that'll make my life a little bit easier. God, this mech is really good. I was going to expect the relatively slow fire rate to be a bit of a problem. And the lack of, like... Because these weapons are not super heavy in terms of ammo. Yeah, that's right, tower. Come at me. I gotta wait because I don't want to hurt myself too much. Oh, that was a wasted double shot there, but... Okay. Alright. There we go. And then there's one more structure back here a little bit, and then I can leave early if I wanted to. I don't have to do everything. Second, we'll do a chain reaction? No. And one exit at the bottom. Alright, let's head down there and wrap this up. It's a bit of a longer video than I wanted, but you know what? Worth it. Oh. Rocket exit. Alright. Can I just bust down the wall? Nah, I was gonna say, probably can't because this is like a dedicated exit. Peace. So yeah, that's Brigador. I think it's normally $20 US on Steam. It does come on sale sometimes, so you can check it out there. And Brigador Killers is still an upcoming game. I think they mentioned in 2019, and then put out a little bit more stuff in 2020, or 2021, I guess. I don't know. They kind of mentioned that yes, we are working on something without putting a lot of emphasis on like, hey, a proper sequel's coming. You know, they want to push that idea when they're a bit closer to launch, I imagine. But anyways, yeah, that's Brigador. Really cool game. I highly recommend it. If you think this video is interesting at all, I'd say give it a go. Otherwise, it's not for everyone, but for people who think this might be up their alley, yeah, just don't think of it as a twin stick shooter. Think of it as kind of a more strategic game than that. That just happens to be really fast paced sometimes. And I think we have a lot of fun with that. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next week with some other video.